last month I made a video about winches out of a thing called Connect. It was sort of like Lego, but not quite like Lego. So, and then I lifted like water bottles and like fishing reels and stuff like that. And one of them had a mechanical advantage, which was like, and it had gears, so it went slower, but it could lift heavier things. And I wanted to do something like that this time, but it could be helpful in real life. So I did a block and tackle, which a block and tackle, like this is a block. And then a block and tackle is the whole setup. So this is a 1-to-1 ratio. It just is attached to the weight. It goes up and it goes down. And then this is a 2-to-1 ratio, which has a mechanical advantage. See, it's attached to the top, it goes down, and then it goes through a block, and then the person pulls it at the bottom. And there's also a 4-to-1 ratio. A 4-to-1 ratio goes like this. It's attached here, it goes here, and then it goes up, down, and then around here, and then somebody pulls it from here. So that's a block and tackle, and it's a way to have mechanical advantage. So yeah, I wanted to make it good for real life. So it can lift a heavier thing. Like, it's easier to lift a heavier thing. It just takes longer. Okay, so you can see now I'm lifting the garbage can, but I have a block and tackle set up here. It goes around here, and then around here, and goes back up, and then it's attached to the garbage can. So let's see if it's easier than just no blocks and tackles at all. I don't think it's easier. For some reason, it's not easier. It's supposed to be easier, but it isn't.
Explain. Okay, you know that guy out there? He's very skinny, and he doesn't really think things out properly. So when he was pulling on the block and tackle, and you know it was harder, he had the block and tackle set up wrong. So he was actually accidentally trying to compress the goalpost. So if he put some more purchase on, he would have actually broke the goalpost, and then he would have been in big trouble with me.
This is a 1-to-1 ratio. That means it doesn't have any, like, it just is attached here going through a block, and I pull it. So if I pull it 1 meter, it will go up 1 meter. I know that I'm pulling it 1 meter because there's these pieces of tape right here, and there's one up there. So I'll line it up with my chin here. I'll line up that one with my chin there, and then we'll see if that makes it go to 1 meter. Because it should, because it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Chin. Chin. It should be about at the 1 meter mark. This is a 2-to-1 ratio. That means if I pull 2 meters of line, the garbage can will lift 1 meter off the ground. But I'm not lifting 2 meters of line. I'm only using 1 meter of line. So the garbage can will lift a half meter off the ground. But it's still the same, just instead of 2 meters and 1 meter, it's 1 meter and a half meter. So let's demonstrate that to you. I have this marked out as 1 meter. I'm gonna line it up with my chin, and then I'm gonna line up that tick with my chin, and then, yeah, that's how I know it will be exactly 1 meter. Chin. Chin. So you can see it should be at the half meter mark. This is a 4-to-1 ratio. That means if I pull the rope 4 meters, the garbage can will lift up 1 meter. So, but I'm only lifting this line 1 meter, so that means the garbage can will lift 25 centimeters. And since it's a 4-to-1 ratio, it's much easier than the 2-to-1 ratio, or a 3-to-1 ratio, or a 1-to-1 ratio, but it takes longer to lift up, but still, it's, it's easier. So I'll demonstrate now. I'm gonna line, I have a tick here and a tick there. I'm gonna line them up with my chin, and that's how I know it's a meter. Chin. Chin. You can see it's about at 25 centimeters. Oh, explain. Okay, now I am going to tell you, that skinny guy out there, he doesn't explain stuff so well. So, he just could have said there's a certain amount of segments in the line. Like if it's 1-to-1, it's like this. And you can see it's 1-to-1 because there's only one here. This doesn't count. So there's one here. And then the 2-to-1 is like this. 1, 2. This doesn't count. And then the 3-to-1 is here. The 4-to-1 is here. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So he could have just said that, but he doesn't explain stuff so well. So, yeah, I explained it for you. In conclusion to this video, the block and tackle provides mechanical advantage. Like a 2-to-1 ratio it takes half the force of a 1-to-1 ratio, and the other half is on the crossbar of the goalpost. And then a 4-to-1 ratio, it has a quarter of the force to pull than as a 1-to-1 ratio, because the other 3/4 are on the crossbar of the goalpost. To help you understand these forces, I weighed the garbage can and it was 24 pounds. I also weighed it on a 1-to-1 ratio and it was 24 pounds. So then I weighed it on a 2-to-1 ratio and it was half of that, like 10 to 15 pounds. So a 2-to-1 ratio is easier than a 1-to-1 ratio, so it makes sense that you're pulling less weight. So that should help you understand these forces. So the friction is a big problem when we do this, because one time for a 1-to-1 ratio I didn't use a block and I just draped it over the goalpost. It wasn't in the video, but yeah, I did that, and then I tried it with a block and it was noticeably easier with the block. So one time I had a 4-to-1 ratio, or like a 2-to-1 ratio, but it wasn't like spread out like we have it now, like this. It was like this, so it twisted a lot and it had a lot of friction because the lines chafed against each other. But it was better in a way because the way it's stretched out, it works good once it's down, like when the weight's down here, but when it gets up higher, it's slightly harder because it's more like this, not pulling it directly up. But I think it's worth it because you don't get the twistiness and the frictionness. So yeah, if you need to lift something that you can't lift by hand, use a block and tackle with mechanical advantage, and that will help you lift it.